So Pats fans want to know, should the Patriots hire their former great linebacker, Patriot Hall of Famer, multi-time Super Bowl champion, and former Tennessee Titan head coach, Mike Vrabel? Should the Patriots fire Bill Belichick, move on from arguably the greatest coach of all time, and hire one of his former players? My answer to that question is absolutely the Patriots should hire Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is a chance for the Patriots. There is no way that a coach of his caliber right now should be available. Like, no way. Like, this is actually a gift. Like, I thought New England was going to have to go out there and trade an asset for Mike Vrabel in the same fashion that Robert Kraft traded for Bill Belichick once upon a time. But the Tennessee Titans just gifted the Patriots with an opportunity at a coach that you know would love to coach the New England Patriots. He adores the Patriots. He has a relationship with Robert Kraft. He has a relationship with us fans. I've always loved Mike Vrabel. I've always supported him as a head coach. Great player for the Patriots. And I think he's the perfect guy to replace Bill Belichick for a variety of reasons. In my opinion, Mike Vrabel has been one of the 5 to 10 best coaches in the NFL since about 2019. Yes, he's had 2 back-to-back losing seasons, but there are a lot of reasons for that have nothing to do with Mike Vrabel. First of all, Ryan Tannehill. Think about Ryan Tannehill for a second and just, comment below where you would rank him the last 2 years in the NFL at the quarterback position. I'll give you a moment. Now consider that Ryan Tannehill has been making the most money in the NFL. So that's reason number 1 why the Tennessee Titans roster has not been very good. On top of that, Ryan Tannehill has been injured in both seasons. Not only is he making the most money and taking up the most cap space, not allowing the Titans to have good players around him, but he's been hurt. On top of that, along with when he's playing, he's been mediocre to below average, right? He was arguably not even better than Will Levis this season, okay? So that's 2022 and 2023. That is why, the biggest reason, that Mike Vrabel has not been able to get back to the playoffs the last 2 years. On top of having numerous injuries and just a turnover of the roster, right? They traded A.J. Brown, which he didn't want, by the way. So this is a myth. Some people think that Mike Vrabel, I don't know why they think that Mike Vrabel was influential in trading A.J. Brown. No. Go back, watch the draft video of Mike Vrabel getting absolutely angry and pissed off that they traded A.J. Brown for Treylon Burks. The general manager and managers of the Titans have put Mike Vrabel in a terrible situation in Tennessee. This was a below-average roster pretty much the entire time he was there in Tennessee. And this was not, a team that had very many elite players. And he was still taking this team to number 1 seed in the AFC in 2021, AFC Championship in 2019, playoffs in 2020, right? 3 straight seasons in the playoffs, 2019, 2020, 2021. And none of those seasons, anyone in their right mind considered the Tennessee Titans a contender, right? You look at what Mike Vrabel has been able to do in Tennessee. In 2021, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC, and he had the most injured NFL team we have ever seen. They had to elevate the most players from the practice squad and that were not on their roster to game day more than any other team we've ever seen in the history of football. And yet their coach got them the number 1 seed. And he was the coach of the year. Coach of the year. 2019. He not only comes to New England and Gillette and ends the dynasty and says goodbye to Tom Brady, he then goes to the number 1 seeded, absolutely loaded, stacked Baltimore Ravens, shuts down Lamar for the first time that season, and beats the Ravens and goes to the AFC Championship. And in fact, in the AFC Championship, that football team had a lead against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. This guy is a really good coach. And the thing about Mike Vrabel that makes him a great replacement for Bill Belichick, he's not a play caller, right? He's not a defensive or offensive play caller. He's a head coach. And there's very few of those in the NFL today. And people may say, well, I want an offensive mind. I want this. I want that. I want a guy that can work with the quarterback. How many Kyle Shanahans do you think exist? How many Sean McVays do you think exist? Heck, how many Matt LaFleurs do you think exists? Right? Like, there are not that many Mike Vrabels. Like, there's Mike Vrabel, there's Mike Tomlin. These are the guys that, in my opinion, do the head coach, I'm the overseer, the game situation, get my guys pumped up, fired up, running through a brick wall better than anybody in history. Right? This is Mike Vrabel has been the 3rd most profitable underdog head coach in the history of the NFL. Out of 150 coaches, right? He's 27-30 straight up as an underdog, which is an extremely impressive record. That's the 3rd most profitable. And really, when you look at it, he's basically second, because first is Tom Cable, who had a very small sample size with the Raiders. And then number 2 is Mike Tomlin, and number 3 is Mike Vrabel, right? So ask yourself that. Do you want a coach who gets your team prepared? Do you want a coach that in every game has a chance to win? Do you want a coach that gets your players fired up in every situation from beginning to end of the season, no matter what your record is, right? They just beat Jacksonville and eliminated Jacksonville from the playoffs as an underdog. 5.5-point underdog. They beat them outright, and they were never in any danger of losing that game. So Mike Vrabel has consistently shown us that, especially, since 2019 through 2021 especially, that even when he's counted out, even when his back's against the wall, even when people don't think he'll win, in the biggest games, he will win. And this is the thing that I think differentiates Mike Vrabel from Bill Belichick. He's done it with bad quarterbacks, right? He's done it with Ryan Tannehill as his best quarterback. Ryan Tannehill, right? Ryan Tannehill is like at his peak, you could argue the 12th, 11th, 10th best quarterback, maybe, right? And most people would say no to that. Most people would say he was like the 15th best quarterback. So I would argue that Mike Vrabel has been the better coach than Bill Belichick since 2019. I would argue that Mike Vrabel has been a top 5 coach in this time span. I would argue that his accomplishments with the quarterback he has been offered, with the roster he has been offered, is as great as any in the NFL. There are very few coaches that can win with average quarterback play. Kyle Shanahan's one of them. Sean McVay might be one of them. Mike Vrabel is another. Mike Tomlin is another, right? And I would put Vrabel in that same vein as Mike Tomlin. I feel like Mike Vrabel can work with our defense. He is a great personality. He is a great alpha dog in the locker room. Players respect him. But at the same time, he has a relationship with his players, which is a differentiation from Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is a general. Bill Belichick is a sergeant. Mike Vrabel is a player's coach who just happens to be tough as nails and old school. And he also has an appreciation for the Patriot culture. He has an appreciation for the city. He has appreciation for the state. He has an appreciation for the style of football in which the Patriots have played over the years. And this is a differentiation as well from what I believe in comparison to other Patriot fans. I don't want to play Ram football. I don't want to play Chief football. I want to play Patriot football. I want to continue this lineage of why the Patriots were so successful, why they won 6 Super Bowls. I want to coach that understands this. I don't want to one day in 20 years be the Raiders and say, what was the Raider way? You know, what was Al Davis talking about when he said, just win, baby? I don't want to be saying we need to get back to Raider football. I don't want to be saying we need to get back to Patriot football, right? I don't want to be that fan. I want to be a guy that continues this. And Mike Vrabel, in a rare fashion, has exhibited he can take this, what he learned in New England as a player, what he learned from Bill O'Brien as a coach in Houston, what he learned from Ohio State, what he learned from Bill Cowher in Pittsburgh in his early days in the NFL, what he learned in every location, take that, put it in his own personality and his own bravado and his own cockiness and confidence, which this guy exhibits, and can bring a winner. And I think if you give this guy a little bit more leeway and a little bit more decision-making and personnel, the way that you gave Belichick, I think that you would see a winner shortly in the NFL with the Patriots. There's a reason he's the most profitable underdog since he entered the NFL as a head coach. That's because he's a good coach, right? The best way to measure a coach is how often do they win when people don't think they'll win? How do they get their team prepared when they won't win? Right? When people think they won't win. And that's Mike Vrabel. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. And the Patriots have an opportunity, and a rare connection to make this thing happen. So I think it's time to move off of Bill Belichick because of his age. I don't necessarily think he's a bad coach. I don't necessarily think that he won't be great elsewhere. But considering Mike Vrabel is in his 50s, still pretty young for an NFL head coach, and he's already had success, this is the opportunity for him to come home and bring Patriot football back. So you've got to hire Mike Vrabel, period. Thanks, guys, for watching. Gronk, spike the like button. Let me know what you think about this topic, and we'll talk soon. Peace.